Hi, this is Sweet June. How's everybody doing today? I'm just going right now. I'm just got a toothache and going through my bout of insomnia. It's like I get these bouts of insomnia, and I think it's because I'm going through my change. So, like, I'll go a week or two without actually sleeping good at night, and then I'm tired during the day, and so I've been going through that. And anyway, I hope everybody's doing okay. And I hope everybody is taking care of themselves. The flu is still spreading pretty rapidly. So just take your vitamins and build your immune system up the best way you can. I wouldn't recommend the flu shot because I don't trust it. I've never taken it. I don't trust it. If I don't like to put something in my body, I'm not sure what it is. And here they say people still catching the flu after getting the flu shot. So there you go. Anyway, what I want to talk about is um, black women still when I was looking at Monique, this is on the heels of my video where I was talking about Monique wanting black people to boycott Netflix because they only offered her $500,000 versus some of the other comedians, and they offered them a lot more money. So this is on the heels of that video. She did some other talk radio interviews and everything, and she was talking about this last one that I watched that she did was very interesting. She's had a lot of interesting points in that video. That broadcast where she was on, and she was talking about how um, black women, um, like how black women, always get the short end of the stick as far as pay and um, how they always want to play black women cheap and um, then they expect for black women to be quiet and not say anything about it. And we always, you know, it's either if we speak up, we got a bad attitude, we're loud and all this kind of stuff. All these labels get thrown at us when we try to speak up and stand up for ourselves. We get all these labels thrown at us because black women are the most stereotyped, scrutinized race of women on the earth. So um, if when we do stand up for ourselves and try to, she made an excellent point with that. She was making a point that um, you know the man was telling her that like she said not only him, but a lot of people was just telling her maybe she need to go ahead and take the $500,000 and do it and prove herself and all that kind of stuff. And she was like, well, why are people always telling black women to be quiet? Why do black women have to be quiet? And how come black women are not expected to stand up for ourselves? And like every time we try to stand up for ourselves and speak out against something, we're told to be quiet. And that was an excellent point because yeah, basically when we do stand up for ourselves, that goes to back to the job. I mean, like we're in a on a job when black women are on a job. I know there was times when I tried to stand up for myself and try to. It's interesting because I was a lot of times I get accused of because I'm not a confrontational type person and I try to avoid confrontation as much as possible when I'm on jobs. And because I'm not a confrontational person, and I'm a nice person, and I'm the type of person I'm nice to everybody. I treat everybody with respect. I'm just a kind person, Even before I became a Christian, I was a kind person. So it's just the way I am, and so I treat everybody with kindness and respect and everything. And on top of that, I'm a non-confrontational person. I'm not a confrontational person. So, and no matter what kind of mood I'm in or how I'm feeling, I still try to be the same way. Like how some people like if they ain't feeling good or they ain't sleep good, well, you gonna know about it the next day when they come to work because they gonna have a bad attitude. They gonna be in a bad mood. I'm not like that. I mean, I could not I could not have got any sleep the day before. I could even be sick, but I'm still going to be the same person as I was. I'm a very, one thing about me, I'm a very consistent person. I'm very consistent. And I just, simply because of the fact that I don't believe in mistreating people, I believe that, just being a Christian, and that's just the way I am as a person as well. I mean, just treating people with respect. And I'm just a kind person. I'm a very kind person. And that has been mistaken because I'm such a kind person. See, people stereotype black women so much that they expect for black women to be a certain way. They expect black women to have an attitude, um, always being loud or whatever. They People, particularly white people, and there's some black people too. They expect for black women to be a certain way, and when you are not that way, when you're totally opposite of what they expect you to be, then they look at you like, you weak, or you don't stand up for yourself. I've been accused of not standing up for myself on jobs because of the type of person that I am, and because I'm not confrontational. I've been accused of not standing up for myself. And that's just the way I am as a person. And I've told people, no, I say what I need to say when I need to say it. I said, if I want, if I want something, or if something needs to be said, I'm gonna say it. Um, I just pick and choose my battles, and that's another thing when I'm on the job. I pick and choose my battles. You can't always. Sometimes it's a lot of things you have to let roll off your back, especially when you're dealing with white folk. You got to let a lot of things roll off your back and everything. And I just know how to pick and choose my battles. And sometimes I just don't think it's, what I may deem is not a good time to say something. Somebody else might say, well, you should say something about that. Well, I might feel like it's in my best interest to let it go. So, you know, I pick and choose my battles. And I'm just, like I said, I'm a nice person. I'm a kind person. I'm non-confrontational. And sometimes that gets mistaken for, people take my kindness as weakness, so to speak. They take my kindness for weakness. And so they look at it as a weak trait. They don't look at it as a strong trait. And they look at it because, and I think it's all based on a stereotype. I literally think it's all based on a stereotype. They think that black women are supposed to be a certain way. And because I'm contrary to what people expect me to be, then I'm looked at as, well, you don't stand up for yourself and all that kind of stuff. And that's not true. That's not true. I do stand up for myself. I just pick and choose my battles. And I'm not a confrontational person. And so that's why I say I hate being judged by my race. I want to be judged by the content of my character, but we all know we don't live in that kind of world. So anyway, I'm getting off the subject. I'm basically, Monique was saying that, when black women try to stand up for themselves, people expect for them to be quiet, and that's basically what she was saying. And you get these labels thrown at you and stuff, and then I thought about a lot of the things that she was saying, about how black women get treated. I paid less in the entertainment industry, and I'm like, that's across the board in all fields. Statistically, black women are the least are make the lowest. We get the lowest paid wages we get paid less than white males, white females. I think it's first is white males, then it's white females, then it's black males, and then we're on the bottom of the totem pole as far as getting paid, and that's in all fields. That's in all fields. I mean, you can go into a corporate America type situation, and you'll get people, a white male, a white female, making more money than you, and they're doing the same job you're doing. So it's like that across the board in all fields. Like when I did my daycare video where I was talking about why I left the daycare, it was some white people that was working there that was making more money doing the same job, that I'm doing. And then there were people that were there less time than me. I had more seniority, and they were making more money. It wasn't that much more money, but it was more money. And so that just go to show you that black women get played cheap. We get played cheap in all fields. It doesn't matter what field it is. It doesn't matter what industry it's in. It's in all industries that black women statistically make less money. We make less money and we get played cheap in all the fields. It doesn't matter how qualified a black woman is, how many degrees she has. At the end of the day, we statistically are not going to get paid the same amount of money as our white female counterparts and white males, not even black female. I mean, black males. I mean, black males make more money than what we make, in the workforce. And so, um, statistically, I mean, we always get played cheap. And so, um, and we're expected to be silent, like she said, we're expected to be silent and be quiet and not say anything about it, you know. But then when we do stand up for ourselves, we're loud. We got a bad attitude, we're the B word or whatever. And we do stand up. We're standing up for what our rights. We're standing up for what we believe in. We're standing up for what we feel is right. I went to my old job to pick up my pay stub, and the director called me in the office. She wanted to talk to me, and she asked me about some stuff that I say some stuff on the internet about the job. And she wasn't actually talking about YouTube. She was talking about something else. And I basically told her that I make it a personal policy. I try not to bash current or past employers, but something was said, but it was the truth. I basically just told the truth. So, um, but I didn't tell her that. But I basically told her that, I make it a policy not to bash current or past employers. But what I said at the same time, something was said, but it was the truth, you know. Um, and she also asked me what did I think about. Um, she asked me my opinion and what did I think about the job, or basically the job. And I told her, I said, well, I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, the money's not long enough. I said, you're not paying enough, you're not paying people enough money. I said that was a major issue across the board with everybody, is that the pay just wasn't good. And I told her that it was just kind of ridiculous that I was here for 4.5 years, and I walked out of the door making 9.40 an hour, walking out the door 9.40 an hour, and I was here 4.5 years, and I was an assistant teacher. I said, I just thought that was just kind of ridiculous. I should have been making more money than that. And so, she asked me for my opinion, and I gave it. And so I could have said some other things that what I thought, but that was like the main thing that I let her know off the top of my head. That was like a major thing. I told her I mainly left for health reasons more. That was my primary reason for leaving the job, and I was telling her how I feel much better now, and you know, um, I asked her for future reference. If I wanted to come back, they hire me. She said she would consider it, but I don't think I want to go back, to be perfectly honest. um, just wanted to know my own personal information, but I'm trying not to go backwards at this point in my life. I'm trying to move forward. So, but it's just in all industries. I don't care what industry you work in as a black woman. You're gonna make less money. You're gonna make less money than your white counterparts. And and basically Monique was basically making the point that um, black women should speak up about it. We shouldn't be told to be quiet and be silent about it. And that's what people expect us to do. People expect us to not stand up. They expect us to just go ahead and take it. And it's just like I guess I never, like I said, I never asked for a raise. Like I explained in that daycare video. I mean, you guys want to go back and check it out. It's like why I left the daycare part 1 and 2. And then what I basically explained in the video was the reason why I didn't ask for a raise, because I felt like I always had to jump through a lot of hoops to prove myself. I was always constantly being questioned about my ability to do the job efficiently throughout the whole time I was there. And I always, like, even to get the assistant teaching position, I had to bend over backwards and jump through some hoops to prove myself, to prove that I could do the job. And I was already doing the job before I got in the job, because um, when you're working in a daycare classroom, um, you can have a lead teacher, assistant teacher, and an aide, all y'all doing the same job. It's just the titles. And some people go on a power trip because I'm the lead teacher or I'm the assistant teacher. They be power tripping. But at the end of the day, all of them are doing the same job. If you're an aide, you're doing the same job as the lead teacher. If you're an assistant, you're doing the same job as the lead teacher. Lead teacher's doing the same job as the aide. You guys are all working together as a team, and you're doing the same job. You're literally doing the same job. You're doing Everybody got to do a lesson plan. Um, Everybody has to contribute to the plans of the classroom, because you have to do lesson plans and all that. Even at the preschool level, you have to do lesson plans, and so all the teachers have to do lesson plans. Even when I was in the A position, I had to do a lesson plan. So all the teachers are doing the same thing. It's just that there's titles, and based on the title, you get paid. You know, that's what you get paid. Might get paid. You're supposed to be getting paid a certain amount of money being lead, a certain amount of money being assistant, a certain amount of getting aid. To be an aide. So you basically, all you guys are basically doing the same job. And so, it's I was already doing because you're doing the same job. I was already doing the job before I even got the. I was already doing it before I even got, and that's what I was trying to tell her when she was trying to say you need to do this and you need to do that. I was like, well, I'm already doing it. And it kept, and once again, because of my personality and the way I am, I'm accused of it's taken as a weakness. And I was always told, well, you need to be more assertive with the kids. You need to be more stern with the kids. And I was saying, yeah, I'm doing that as well. You know, so it's just, it just, so I felt like I always had to constantly prove myself. And so I felt if I had to went in there and asked for a raise, then my thought was, how many hoops am I going to have to jump through to get this raise? I didn't want to go through all that. So I figured, what's the point? You know? Because where somebody, she would have just gone and gave it to him. Me, I would have had to do 50 million things to prove myself worthy of even a 25-cent raise. And I just thought that would have been kind of humiliating. And I do have a certain amount of pride. I don't have too much pride, because it's not too much pride is not good. But I do have a certain amount of pride, just like everybody else. And I just thought that was just kind of humiliating when I was already doing the job in an efficient manner. That I felt I was doing the job in an efficient manner. Because I'm type of person, when I go on the job, I give it my all. When I go on a job, I do the best. I try to do the best job that I can do. Um, Not just because of me. I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to my work record and my work ethic and all that kind of stuff. But also because I'm a Christian, and it honors Jehovah God. It honors Jehovah God for me to go in and do the best job that I can do. So, as a Christian and as me as a person, I like to give it my best. I like to do the best job that I can do. Even in the job that I'm in now, when I go to a client, I like to try to give them my best. I like to do the best that I can do. Um, and that's just the way I am. I've always been that way, and you know, and so I was giving it my all. I was doing my best. I was giving them my best. And I always tell an employer, all my employers, I can't give you perfection, but I can give you my best. I can't give you perfection because I'm not a perfect person, but I can give you my best. And that's what I felt like I was giving. And so for me to have to, if I go and ask for a raise, and for me to have to jump through 50 million hoops to try to get this raise would have been kind of humiliating for me when I was already, at my peak performance on the job because that was my goal. My goal was to get really good at the job because, like, when I first started, I obviously wasn't very good at it because I had never done, um, I've taken care of kids, but I had never worked in an actual daycare center. I did years ago, but it was a different setup. But I had never actually worked in a daycare center like that, where it was set up like that. And so I went from, I started from the bottom, and then, and I worked my way up. And my goal was to get really, really good. I had something to prove to myself, but I had something to prove to other people that was saying that I couldn't do it. So I was not only trying to prove to myself that I can do the job, but I was also trying to prove to other people. I'm the type of person, I like to prove you wrong. You be trying to tell me I ain't gonna do something or I can't do something. Okay. And so I was determined to prove them wrong, and I was determined I had to prove something, not just trying to prove something to them, but I was trying to prove something to myself as well, because I wanted to prove to myself that I can do the job and do it well. Well, mission was accomplished. I said, well, I'm going to get really, really, really good at this job, and then I'm going to quit. And so I didn't know when I was going to quit. I just knew I was going to quit. So it was just a matter of a when, but I didn't know when, but I just knew it. And I felt like in my mind, I was at my peak performance. And so I should have, my salary should have been reflective of that. Anyway, I just that's the point that I was trying to make, that black women we've always gotten played cheap across the board. It doesn't matter what field it's in. Um, the Hollywood level, I don't care what field you're working in as a black woman, you're always gonna make less money. And then we're expected to be silent and not say anything about it. Well, we should say something about it and we should speak up about it because it's no more than right. We should get paid the same wages as anybody else that's doing the same job. Especially, we all know that black people have to work harder. We all know that black people have to work harder on the job. Statistically, I mean, well, it's not about statistics really, but it's about, because of the way things are and because of systematic racism, we always have to work harder. And you guys know what I'm talking about. We have to work twice as hard. So that's what I'm saying. So I thought Monique had some excellent points. Well, I got some more interesting video topics coming up. This is Sweet. Please like and subscribe. This is Sweet June.